Have you ever wanted to turn a housecoat into a dog bed? Probably not, but I'm going to show you how. And you probably asked the reason why, and that's because my dog, cutie little Thor, tends to rip his beds apart. And so far we've spent $80, and well, I decided the next bed is going to have to be free. So I have this older housecoat, and let me just show you how I am putting it together. One, you fold over the housecoat at its side seams until it overlaps, and then I pinned it, the front and back together, and I sewed all the way up. And then also on this back side, I flipped it over, and I also sewed all the way up. So that was my first step. And the second step was to sew the sleeves to the side of the housecoat. And I also opened up the cuff. Here was a cuff here. And then I sewed this to the side of the housecoat. And the only thing I should have done was turn the housecoat inside out and sew this seam so it'd be on the inside. So this shouldn't have been on the outside, but that's what happened. And so after I sewed this to the side of the housecoat, I just set the arms right against the body. And I sewed it on right at the top. Okay. And then I stuffed this with stuffing. I had saved the stuffing from the old beds that the dog had ripped apart. And then I decided to stuff this neck to make this a perfectly round circle. And then I sewed a seam right here from shoulder to shoulder in order to make this a round buffer. Now on this one, I sewed here and I sewed here. And sometimes when I make things and I realize that was wrong. So I'm going to take this apart, actually turn it to the inside, and then sew it across so it doesn't stick out. So it'll have a more of a finished edge, but sometimes when I'm designing, I just do something fast, then I look at it and go, that was bad. So I'm going to fix that. And then I am going to show you how to finish this bed. All right, so here now is the neck that I've finished. I ripped the seam, I pushed this to the inside, and I sewed this. And some of it was by hand because it was just way too thick for the machine to go into. And this is going to be against the wall, so no one's going to see how beautiful this is. Now, this project is, well, for that little puppy there, Thor. And the goal was to not cut anything off. So as a seamstress, I've made tons and tons of things. And so I thought I'd give myself an interesting challenge and say nothing can be cut off. So I didn't cut off this neckline, just turned it in. I'm not creating any raw seams. So this is just a really silly project. But then now I'm going to turn it over. This is the top side. So the other side that you saw with all the lines, that was the front of the housecoat. And this is the back of the housecoat. So now I'm going to stuff it. And what I have is a bunch of stuffing here. And I'm just going to open up this housecoat and stuff it in. All right, so now I have finished stuffing the bed. As you can see, this side looks much better than the other side. And so this is the next step, is to really make it fluffy for him. But then you see I have all of this housecoat left over, right? And I cannot cut it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it up, and I'm going to lift it up and make it a side seam here. And I will lift up this side, and I'm going to put this on the outside of it, and I'm going to finish making an edge on this side. And so I will do that. I've just rolled this up, this extra material, And you want to make sure that you push in the ends here, just tuck them towards center so you have a nice finished end, when you're all finished. And it looks like I need to fix that a little bit better. There we go. So you want to have a nice clean end like this when you finish the sewing right here. And you don't want these corners sticking out. So just tuck everything in. And then I'm going to sew it along this line all the way down. And then I'll show you the next step in my Let's Turn a Housecoat into a Dog Bed project without cutting anything off the housecoat. Now I just finished sewing this line all along here, as you can see. So it's going to hold the roll that I made, and I also sewed up the ends. And that way, this just isn't going to move at all. And so now I'm going to bring this up and bring the side over. I'm going to wrap this piece around. I only have a couple hands here. But anyway, I will show you. I'm going to finish sewing this. I'll probably have to do it by hand because it's just too thick to put through my sewing machine. Well, I'm almost done. I just want to show you this seam. This is hand sewn, so I've hand sewn this here and along this edge and then down into here. And you can see that hand sewn seam just kind of makes it blend in nicely. And here's the other side, what it looks like before it's sewn at all. So you can see how you can see the seam and everything right there. And once you sew it together, look how nice that looks. All right, just about done. All right, this is my finished project. I just finished hand sewing up this side right here. And this is the back rolled part of the bed. Along this edge you can see. And because I pulled it so tight, it made it nice and stiff. And so this is the way it's going to set against the wall. That back part will be against the wall, and this is the front. And right here is the neck part. So you can't see that at all. It's all tucked under. So when you're making a project like this, you want to make sure that the side that is very busy that you sew on, that has lots of lines and everything, is on the bottom. And that the back of the housecoat is on the top. And so just let me know what you think of my housecoat into a dog bed project. And if you'd like to try this and show me your technique, I would love to see it. Check that out. Nice and soft, nice and comfy. And we'll have to see if the dog likes it or rips it apart because he thinks it's his girlfriend. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Thanks for checking out my project. This is Hippie Chick, and I make all sorts of things. I do a lot of finishing projects, wood finishing projects, restoration projects, and a lot of sewing projects. I make all kinds of things and design all kinds of things. And so I thought I'd just show you some of the things that I do. Thanks for stopping by my channel and checking out how to turn a housecoat into a dog bed without cutting any material off the housecoat. Have a great afternoon.